Welcome back. We have more coming in now. A new reaction to the report released by Republicans after a 2-year investigation on the events that played out in Benghazi that resulted in the loss of life of 4 Americans. And joining me now, Republican Congressman Lynn Westmoreland of Georgia, a member of the House Select Committee on Benghazi. He joins us now straight from that news conference. Thank you so much, Congressman, for your time.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. What do you see as the headline out of the, and I have the report here in front of me, this 800-page report. What is the headline for you?
New facts, truth would be the real, I guess, key words to come out of this for me. And it's an opportunity for the American people to be able to take and put together some new facts with some of the old things that have been discovered in some of the other investigations and actually be able to tie that together. And I think that comes from the fact that, you know, the different committees that did the investigations had certain lanes that they had to stay in. And, of course, with the orders that we had been given, we kind of took away those lanes and we were able to put a lot of stuff back together.
When you look at the headline here, at least the focus right now from everything as far as word count to the headlines, the focus is on the military being faulted for delay in response despite clear orders from President Obama and the Pentagon, as well as what's seen as missteps by the administration. But you and I both know that the heavy focus for your base has been on Hillary Clinton, the allegation that she failed as the head of the State Department and was somehow responsible for the events that led to the deaths of those 4 Americans. Does this report draw that conclusion? Does this report present any evidence that Hillary Clinton failed as Secretary of State as it relates to Benghazi and the deaths of those Americans?
Well, I think that the American people, our fellow citizens, have to read the report for themselves. They'll be able to determine their view of Ms. Clinton, their view of Secretary Panetta, their view of what the president did, their view of what Ben Rhodes did, Patrick Kennedy, what the GRS agents did, what the diplomatic security agents did. They'll be able to get their own opinion of exactly what happened, because we put this down in a very detailed order of timelines, emails, and hopefully our goal is to get all the transcripts released so the public can read those.
But is your conclusion from being part of this committee, assembling these many pages, is your conclusion that there is evidence that Hillary Clinton misstepped or did something wrong as Secretary of State as it relates to Benghazi? Is that your conclusion?
Well, I think, you know, that's up to the individual person.
But you were part of the team.
No, I'm fixing to tell you my personal opinion if you'll just listen for one moment. I think that what my conclusion that I draw from it is that there was a failure in the chain of command at the State Department from the information we were able to get. The fact that the State Department stonewalled us on so many of these emails and different information that we asked for is something I question too. What were they trying to protect? Who were they trying to protect? So, I mean, my conclusion is that, look, I looked at all the information and I see that there was an error somewhere in the State Department because of the known facts about the lack of security. Now, does that go to the boss? Does the buck stop with the boss? Or is there somebody else to blame? That's up to the American people to draw that conclusion. But when you're the boss, you're supposed to be the boss.
But with all due respect, as you asked me to wait while you answered, you did not answer. Did you find evidence in this 800-page report in front of me that you've suggested that the American public print out at their homes? Is there evidence in here that this person or individual that was being protected was Hillary Clinton? Is there evidence in this that proves
Ma'am,
that Hillary...
We don't know who they were trying to protect. We have no idea. But when your chief of staff is also your attorney, you know, that would show that there is some type of buffer created in some of these instances of attorney-client privilege. All I'm telling you, ma'am, is that we have laid out all the facts, and we hope that all the transcripts, I mean, people watched or some people watched the 10 hours of interview that we had with Secretary Clinton. So I'm sure they were able to gauge something by that, and we just think that this report will help fill in those gaps.
But there are two Democrats, including Elijah Cummings, who was just on with me. There are still gaps. He's calling on all of the transcripts to be released.
We're with him.
So I'm asking you, have all the transcripts been released, all of the information?
No.
So this assertion from Congressman Cummings is untrue?
Well, all the transcripts haven't been released because they haven't been cleared by the intelligence community or the agencies that would give us clearance to do it. They're in the process right now of looking at all those transcripts and making redactions where they feel necessary. We think the transcripts could just be released, and I agree with Mr. Cummings on that. They need to be released because they will paint a picture that will coincide with the new facts that we found in our report and in our investigation. So I totally agree with him. But you know, Ms. Hall, the interesting thing is, and I've been saying this for a year, it doesn't matter what our report says. It doesn't matter what I say or anybody else says. They are going to make it political. And when I say they, I'm talking about the Democrat minority. And when I say they, I'm talking about the media. And when I say they, I'm talking about the Hillary family. And so, you know, it wouldn't have mattered what we said. It wouldn't have mattered what the headline was.
But does that also apply to the
was.
Republican presumptive nominee? Do you believe that Donald Trump is making this political as well?
Well, Donald Trump is not mentioned in our report. Unfortunately, I think he's mentioned about 23 times in a Democratic report, more than Mr. Daugherty or Mr. Woods. So they're trying to bring the politics into this. You do not see us. In fact, we mentioned Ms. Clinton fewer times than the Democrats did in their report.
But is that because the House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy last September said, I quote, every thought Hillary Clinton was unbeatable, but we put together a Benghazi special committee, a select committee.
That's not what
I'm reading let me play it then. If I'm not reading it right, here it is for you.
Okay.
Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was unbeatable, right? But we put together a Benghazi special committee, a select committee. What are her numbers today? Her numbers are dropping. Why? Because she's untrustable. But no one would have known any of that had happened had we not
I agree.
thought.
So that's what I was reading, but there it is in his own words.
Yes, ma'am. And I think, you know, and I can't tell you what Kevin was thinking. I just know I'd heard him many, many times before. But the fact is that our committee did find out about the private server. And so, I mean, you know, when actions have consequences, and if her actions, the consequences was her numbers falling, that didn't have anything to do with us. Were we not supposed to say anything about a private server? No, we want the American people to have the truth. And so if the truth brought about consequences, there's nothing we can do about that.
Congressman Lynn Westmoreland, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate you joining me today.